Suzanne Syptak, and my parents were members of Hillcrest since 1992, and that was 20 years ago. One time we got up on Christmas morning, do you remember? And we had everybody in, and we got up and went to Hillcrest, and it was 7 degrees, and there, as near as I could tell, there was no heat on whatsoever. We sat like we were at a football game with coats across our legs and huddled together. I was probably about 16 in this picture. If I were to write a letter to myself as a 16-year-old, I would just encourage to do your very best, not to slide by doing what's easy. I was torn between being a little bit more popular and being someone who really followed and acted on her Christianity. I did the very best that I could in swimming. That was something my life revolved around a whole lot. I'm glad I grew up in the era of when Billy Graham was at his height. This is what he says about morals. Christ and self are perfectly incompatible. To have the one, you must be prepared to surrender the other. The heart subtly schemes to do both, but it does not deceive Christ.
I fussed at a lot of my friends who did not send in letters. I wrote mine with no thought that I'd ever be standing up here. I knew my friends' letters would be more spiritual, more inspirational. I was talking with Glenda Miller the other day, and she gave me something that I wanted to add to my letter. She said that she hoped that she would have told herself to be more appreciative of the good life that she had. Parents who loved her and who loved each other. Christianity practiced in the home. I wish I'd added that to my letter. Some of you did know my parents. They were active members of Hillcrest for about 10 years until my father died about 11 years ago at 92. Mom will be 101 3 weeks from yesterday, and she still has an opinion about everything. Dear Susie, when you were in junior high, your Sunday school department's favorite song was Our Best, and you all sang it boisterously every week, partly to annoy the superintendent. Knowing the words to that song is not enough, because school is easy for you, and your parents want you to have a more pleasant life than they had. You don't always do your best. This is an add-on. 3 of my grandparents were dead before my parents were 16, so they did grow up with a hard life. Help your mother. She is 41, and she has 3 babies. She is too lenient on you because at your age, she had to drop out of school to care for a sick mother and 3 half-brothers. Learn now to be on time. That is your greatest failing. Just ask my husband. Make up that biology test you missed. That teacher is going to give you a 0, and you will have to explain to the admissions officer at Rice Institute why you once made a C. Keep up your swimming. Even though you are not a top competitor, you will be the best 50-year-old in the pool. Also, one of the most exciting things you will ever do is to volunteer at the U.S. Olympic swim trials. Monitoring Janet Evans when she was 16, after she broke her first world record, as she hugs her parents, the the parents were not allowed to go down on the deck, and the swimmers could not go into the stands. But the 3 or 4 of us stood there while Janet hugged her parents in such great glee. And today she is 40, and she is trying to compete in the Olympics that are coming up. The U.S. swimmers dominated the Seoul Olympics, and I got to see them, all of them, the ones that were the gold medal winners, teaching hundreds of children swimming and water safety may save some lives. The curfew you protest will save you from a couple of really dumb and embarrassing events. Make a serious effort in debate. As the coach told your partner, who was a preacher boy, you will be in a debate all your life, and you had better learn to do it right. That guy, Jimmy Draper, will be president of the Southern Baptist Convention someday. That was my partner. You are so fortunate to be growing up in the era of Billy Graham. Your trip to Houston Coliseum affected the lives of many of your friends. Take his words to heart and share them. This is what he says about morals. That was on the video. Christ and self are perfectly incompatible. To have one, we must be prepared to surrender the other. The heart subtly schemes to do both, but it does not deceive Christ. Do not attempt to deceive anyone. Begin now to witness for the Lord. Avoid being self-righteous. Avoid being a prig. Let Christian love show through. Learn to study. Someday, picking up what you hear in a lecture will not be enough. Memorize scripture while you are young and able. I will be watching you. This is yourself, 60 years later, Suzanne Lively, Syptak.